plaintiff, Carl Stevens, says the defendant was his neighbor and everything with them was good until the defendant started taking Percocet from Carl's brother. Carl suing his neighbor for the value of a flatbed trailer. Defendant Brian Hawes insists he never abused Percocet, and as a result of a previous DUI, he gets drug tested weekly. Brian does not feel as though he owes Carl for anything.
Start with you.
Okay, a little history. I moved into my house about 3 years ago, and Brian moved in shortly after. And I noticed that he had a little girl over there, his daughter and stuff, and we talked a little bit. He introduced himself, and he's a single dad trying to get custody. Him and his ex-girlfriend had some problems and stuff, and he was trying to get legal custody or visitation rights. And he informed, that he was single and stuff. So my brother was living with me after back surgery. We'd fix food and take food over to him and his little daughter. And every once in a while, he'd ask me for some gas money. He couldn't get to work and stuff. He was self-employed, starting his own business. So I'd give him $10 or $20 here and there to help with things. And he had hurt his back or something. And my brother, of course, he come over and asked my brother if he had any pain pills. And my brother gave him a couple of Percocets, to help him out and stuff. And that's when things started going south.
When you say going south, you think he became addicted to opioids?
Well, I'd seen cars coming and going at strange hours of the night at his place. And I seen there's a little quick trip by our place. And seen he'd meet guys there in the car, and then they would leave.
And was that before also the Percocet? Did your brother?
No, that was kind of afterward.
Just after?
Yeah.
So your brother got him hooked?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he only gave him the 2, so. But he said he'd been taking them before.
He may have come back and gotten some more. Now you say he said he'd been taking them before.
Well,
so you were providing the money. You gave him 10 and 20 here. That's what Percocets cost. What, $25 on the street?
Pardon me, sir?
How much Percocets cost on the street?
I don't know.
Now you want to play crazy.
Yeah. All right. We're going to play crazy in a little bit.
Okay.
$20, $25 you were giving him at a time.
Yeah.
So you were supplying his habit.
Well, I may have been, but I thought he needed it for gas and stuff. I thought he was a stand-up guy trying to get his daughter.
Then your brother got him hooked.
Well, I can't say whether he did or didn't. I don't know.
Who got you hooked?
Your Honor.
He did?
This is all a surprise to me right here. This is just another act by Carl. You never know what you're going to get with him. One more.
Man, doesn't seem like he's an opioid. He's like a pretty boy type with a bunch of women chasing after him. That's why he's jealous, isn't he? He sees the women.
Definitely something
That's
wrong.
who's coming in and out, women.
Yeah.
That's who's driving in and out. He's jealous. That's the dope man. No, that's his women. Tall, handsome young man like this, you're going to accuse him of being a dope fiend just because he got women coming in and out. Jealous. Does his brother look as handsome as you? Neither
Brothers
one
are
of them.
the same way he is, sir.
Go ahead, sir. You give me some background on your association with your neighbor here.
When I moved in, I didn't meet Carl for a few months. Then I finally went over there and talked to him. He found out I did tree work, so I said I'd do some tree work for him. I did a job for him right away. I'd bid at about $1,200 is what I'm self-employed. I do it for myself, and I'm busy with work.
Good.
So I'm not sure what about gas money he's talking about, but I told him something about my back hurting, and they offered painkillers, which I did not take. If I would have known that he was going to say something like that, I have 3 years of, I was on probation for a DUI before that, and I had taken UAs weekly. If I were to take painkillers or anything like that during the time, it would have came out positive for it. So there's absolutely no way possible that would even
I don't know, he's just jealous.
But
Let's move ahead, sir, with the flatbed trailer. Tell me what happened there to cause him to hold you.
Well, I told Brian I was getting ready to move to Arizona, and he said, well, I'd like to buy your trailer. I said, well, it's not for sale because my boys still use it for the lawn service I have. And I noticed a day went by. I said, Brian, have you got my trailer? He said, no. I said, well, it was in your driveway. He said, I don't know where it is now. So I called the insurance company and I said, well, what do we do about this? They said, well, it was on his property, so he has to make the claim for it. So I told Brian, he called the police December 2nd. They come out and made a police report. They come over next door and talked to me about it. He said that this is your trailer. I said, yeah. So they filled out the police report that I have right here.
Let's see it, please.
It states on there that that's my trailer and stuff. And the insurance company also knows that it's my trailer. Brian told him it was my trailer. So I expected to get a check in the mail because it was my property. No check. So a couple of weeks went by. I called the insurance company and said, well, no, they sent the check out to Brian because it's his policy. So they sent him a check for $428. And the reason it's $428 because he had a $500 deductible. So I got a hold of Brian and said, hey, what's the deal? You already got a check. He said, well, I haven't opened my mail yet. Maybe I burned it.
How long had they told you the check had gone out? The insurance company, a week before?
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks, he said he hadn't opened his mail.
Right. Said, I burn a lot of that. I don't even open it up. And then he said he'd go through it. Well, he called and said, well, yeah. He said, I found it. I said, okay.
He does have plenty of money.
Right. Well, I expected to get my
He got checks he doesn't even open for weeks.
You need $10 for gas, right?
Huh?
But I need $10, $15.
Right, you need $10. He's not even opening checks. You can tell when you have a check. He just said, I'll get to it.
Yeah. Right. Well, I was trying to help him out. I told him, well, just give me the check for $428. Now go ahead and get me a used trailer and don't worry about it. He said, no, that trailer was only worth about $200. It's just junk. He said, and I'll give you $200 and the rest of it is going towards my insurance premiums. And I think I should charge you for my insurance going up. And I said, that don't work that way. That was my property. All I want's my trailer back.
Let me hear from you on the trailer.
The trailer sat between our houses back and forth. And we always had an agreement, don't go in somebody else's backyard unless you talk to him. Well, he's moving to Arizona, and 3 days before that, he pushes the trailer over to my house because doesn't have room for it. He's moving or whatever. And then it gets stolen.
Did he ask you, or did you say?
No,
okay.
Not at all, no.
That's not true at all.
There's no...
My sister was there.
Let him finish. Go ahead. He moves it over to you because he's going to Arizona. Go ahead.
Yeah, so 3 days before, it magically gets stolen. Nobody's ever messed with it. Nobody even looked twice at it, you know? Why would you steal something that's worth $100, you know? But all of a sudden, it comes up stolen. I go over there and ask him if he took it back or whatever, and that's when he first realized it was gone, he said. And so he didn't call nobody. He didn't call no police. He didn't do nothing like that. He demands that I call the police and file a thing, and demands that I put it on my insurance. And I'm just like, you know, like, this is worth like $100, $150, $200, you know? He tells me if it was worth $900 and he put some work into it. There's a 2x4, 2x8, like, I'd hear him swearing outside the bedroom window in the morning because he said I ruined his trailer one time. Well, the bungee cord that held the boards down on it broke. So he said that his trailer was ruined, and it was a bungee cord that held it down. So I just tied a piece of rope on it instead, which is probably an upgrade to it.
So why shouldn't you pass on the money that you received for the trailer that was his?
Because, you know, I've done probably $2,500, $3,000 worth of work for him and never asked him for a dime, you know. He had to make payments to me for $200 on a $200 tree job. He had to make payments to me for $100. And his brother told me he was desperate for money for it. But, you know, I never asked him, you know, I knew he didn't have a lot of cash, and I did a lot of labor on there, and I was doing a neighborhood thing. My insurance company, I called him, and I said, I don't know, you'll have to talk to Carl about the value because he thinks it's worth $1,000, and I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not doing any insurance fraud, nothing like that. You know, I don't want no part of it. And 2 weeks later, he calls me and tells me there's a check in the mail. I had no idea. You know, all my bills are paid online, like, you know, most of the mail.
What evidence you say you wanted to show me, sir? Anything else?
Well, I have a deal where I contacted the insurance company. Let me see here.
Contacted my insurance company.
Well, I guess I don't have it.
I don't think he had insurance, sir, that's why.
That was the very most, and I said I'd give that to you. Rest is going to premiums. Well, the fact is, you shouldn't have had your trailer on his property, and as a result, someone stole it, but it wasn't under his supervision. Unless he agreed to it, you were trespassing on his property.
Well, that's not true, Your Honor, because he borrowed it. It was on his property when it got stolen, and it wasn't because I needed it over there because it wasn't hurting nothing on my property. He borrowed it to do a lawn service.
And you say that's not true?
No, he put it on my...
All right, I'm not sure about that. I am going to grant you the judgment for the check that he received, because I'm not convinced of anything else, whether you loaned it to him for his use or whether you were parking it over there for your own purposes without his approval. What I do know is he received $428 for your trailer, so I'm going to grant you $428 that he has received. That's my judgment. Have a good day.
prevails. I was trying to be the nice guy and only get the $428 in the first place, so I feel justified.
If I would have known Carl better at the time, I would have never done any of the tree work for him. If I would have nickel and dimed him, my bids would have been like $2,500. I do that for somebody that needs help. I don't regret it, but now I regret it since you see his character. A few dollars, like, it's sad.